Okay. So we are going to start in few minutes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sharing the event so people can join. We will just wait for a few minutes to give everybody the time for joining us. Okay. Okay, so maybe we can start.
Okay.
So, first of all, hello to everybody. Welcome to Jump into Freedom community. So, I want to briefly introduce what Jump. Yes, Jump into Freedom is a community for women who are living abroad or who are planning to live abroad and to move abroad. This event is part of a series of talks about international mobilities, international programs, or just experiences abroad. And we are going to interview participants. Today we have a special guest, Milda. Hello, Milda. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Do you want to tell us a bit more about yourself?
Yes, okay, sure. My name is Milda. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Lithuania. I recently graduated from history and public communications. And at the moment, I'm studying cultural heritage and I'm working as content creator in Lithuania. And at my free time, I'm a big traveler usually, not in these circumstances. In few years, I traveled more than 40 countries, and I wish I can do it again as soon as possible when this all over.
Yes, actually now it's not the best moment for traveling, but I hope that we can all go back to our normality soon, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Hello, Paulina. Paulina is watching to us and want to say hello to you as well. I'm sharing. I'm sharing. If you want to connect with her also later, you can maybe also her travels or whatever she usually posts on her Instagram.
Yeah, sure. You can ask me any questions if you have about experience, about my something related to my experiences or how to plan your gap year. I will try to answer to you.
Thank you so much. So let's talk about your mobility experience. So all the experiences abroad you had. So what was your first program abroad?
So talking about my gap year, first of all, and why I decided to do it, I really, when I was studying at university, I got a lot of theoretical knowledge, but not practical. I did not have any internships or something like that. So I had this big knowledge, in the sphere of history and communications, but no practice. So that's why I wanted to do some internships and to take some time to work and to take this gap year. I also really wanted to travel and to have this, like time for myself, because when I was studying, I did not have so many free time. So
Mm.
yeah, so my gap year was basically for experiences. It was a lot, you know. Other people maybe choose one experience and do it for 1 year. They volunteer or they do one internship that is longer, but I chose to do 4 internships. And I chose to do it because I wanted to try myself actually in different fields, because I was not sure should I continue my master's studies in history, in heritage, or journalism. So my idea was that I should try myself in all of these fields. And yeah, basically, in the end of the year, hopefully, I will get to know like which studies I will continue. So my first experience was an internship in Portugal, in Porto, and I was working as tour guide there. And yeah, it was an incredible experience for me in particular, because before I was never working. I never had a real job, how to say. I was freelancer. So when I went to Portugal, it was a big shock for me. I needed to learn how to be in this working community. I needed to, you know, just I just got in these like shoes where I had to work from 8 to 5 and so on. And the work was actually very interesting. I also had to travel Portugal and neighbor countries. I got to meet like some very, very amazing people and my favorite singer. So yeah, it was
That's
amazing
great.
experience.
Yes, it sounds really an amazing experience. Milda, can you remember us? Where do you come from? So you moved to Porto, but from where?
From Lithuania.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's quite I think also a different culture, right?
Yeah, it's very different culture. And if you look to Lithuania, it's very, very far away. I think it's one of the furthest dots on the map when you look from Lithuania, if we're talking about Europe. Iceland and Portugal are the furthest points. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you have been very, very brave to decide to take a gap here and also
Yeah.
to follow yourself and your needs. This is very important, and I think that people can really feel inspired from your story. So I want to ask you another question. So
Mhm.
what programs you did after this one? Because as you said, you have been able to join different kind of programs and to travel a lot. So what did you do after this one?
Yeah, so after I spent in Portugal 4 months exactly. After Portugal, I had only 1 week in Lithuania. And then I followed my gap year plan, and I went with European Solidarity Corps to Turkey, to Ankara.
Wow.
And there I was trying to prove myself. I can't be a teacher or I can be a teacher, because I didn't know actually. Because one of the things that many people do when they graduate from history, they become teachers. So yeah, I went there to with European Solidarity Corps. I was teaching children in American Culture School, and I was teaching children in kindergarten. Also, I was working in a youth organization. I was helping to organize European just volunteering programs, European projects, and so on, Erasmus projects. And yeah, after Turkey, I spent 2 months in Turkey. It was short-term EBS project. I went to Iceland. And in Iceland, I spent 2.5 months. In Iceland, I was working because I wanted to earn some money for my future studies that I knew that will come next year. So in Iceland, I spent my time basically traveling and working, and it was not with any program. It was just an ordinary job. I knew that for foreigners in Iceland, the easiest way to get a job is in hospitality sector. So yeah, I was working in a hotel. After my experience in Iceland, another EVS project followed. So, yes, I joined the European Solidarity Corps website and I found the program of my dreams, I would say, because I was so into culture, heritage, and history. And I found this project in Bulgaria that was all connected to heritage. And this project was very special because we were constantly moving to different cities and changing our activities. At first, I was in Aktopol next to the sea, and there we were doing archaeological excavations, and we found many incredible foundings that end up in museums later on. Later, we went to Chiprovtsi, and there I prepared a tourism campaign for that very, very small city. And yeah, and then I was in Belgrade there doing a project as well. So yeah, these were my four things that I did during my year.
So just to summarize, you had the internship, the Erasmus Plus internship, that was your first experience,
Yeah,
and then you had the short EVS, right? Then you
yes,
went
yes,
for a job for
yeah.
working, and then you
Hmm.
went for a long-term EVS, right?
Yes, yes, long term, but that long term was 3.5 months. So usually people think, oh, 12 months or something like that. It was shorter. Yeah.
It's also very interesting to see how you moved from Turkey, for example, where you were doing your
Yeah.
volunteering, to Iceland to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite far away, and I can imagine the cultural shock you had. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember my first day actually in Iceland. It was very, very scary actually. And when I was in Iceland, I was in this very, very, very small city. Sorry, not city, village. That has 100 people, and I was actually
Okay.
not even living in this village. I was 5 kilometers from it, but everyone was like saying we live in this village because there was no other place, around. So when I went there, I realized how remote it was, and it was scaring me because in Turkey I was with tens of millions of people every day, and everyone was bumping in the street, and there were so many people. It was incredible. And in Iceland, it was completely different. Just me, rivers, mountains, and some other employees, like very, very different. Yeah.
I think that each travel or each experience abroad always challenge yourself. And
Yeah.
when you finish the experience, you are going to be a different person. So even if sometimes there are so different experience one from another, and there are some hard times, or maybe you can feel homesick and so on. I think that then in the end, all experience are going to change you and to make the person that you want to be.
Yes, for sure.
So, talking about this, can you tell us how it was the overall experience for you for the whole year?
Hmm. So my goal going to this experience, as I mentioned, was basically just to know myself better, to try myself in different fields, and I managed to do it. And I was very happy because all of my experiences were very, very different, actually, and it challenged me a lot. And so, yeah, it made it easier to decide which field I want to work in, and I want to pursue my studies in. So it was definitely easier. Then the other thing, I got to travel a lot. I was not only traveling, in these countries that I stayed in, but I also traveled to neighbor countries. And for a big traveler as me, as myself, it was an incredible experience. Then also I managed to make very, very great connections with such a different people from such a different backgrounds. I got to get so many different friends, and it's really incredible. But it was very sad because, as I was staying in one place for 2 months or 3 months, it was very heartbreaking to leave the place so early, so quick. So also it was very difficult. And the other point that I want to mention it was not only butterflies and rainbows. It was a full experience. And before taking this gap year, I already had experience abroad because I was during my third year at university. I did Erasmus studying exchange, and it was perfect. Every day was perfect. It was just such a perfect experience. And I thought, it will be the same. It will continue to be like this. But actually, on gap year, I faced a lot of difficulties. It was great year, but also I had to face maybe difficult landlords, some issues with coordinators, and so on.
Mhm.
So it just introduced me to like the real world. And yeah, because I think when we're in university, still living with our parents and so on, we're in the safe bubble. And yeah, so it helped me to just be more confident in myself and my abilities. And yeah, overall gained many, many skills. And yeah, it was great.
Did you manage to keep in touch with the friends that you met there
Yeah,
during
actually,
your gap year?
yeah, like after all, like I'm still trying to remember everyone and to write to everyone. And with most of the people, we're still having video chats, especially during the virus time. We had more time, and we're texting each other constantly. So I made some very, very strong connections, and with some people, maybe we're just uh, connecting once in a month or rarely. But yeah, it's great. Like I made some very, very strong connections.
That's good. That's very nice. So I want to say hello to Akshaya, who is watching us from India. Welcome to our community. And also, we have a question from Pauline. How
Mhm.
did you manage to adjust in a small place? I think is related to the experience in. How did you manage to adjust in a small place? Share your experience.
Sorry, there's internet problem. How did
Yeah.
I
So
manage to adjust in small place?
adjust
Was
in a small
adapt?
place. You know,
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, it's probably I had two experiences about adapting in small places. So first was Iceland, definitely. So as I mentioned, the first day when I got there, it scared me a lot because I knew that there's no one there. There's a village 5 kilometers apart that has 100 people. The other city that they call city is 100 kilometers away, and it has 200 people. Basically, there's no people. And in the place where I was, we were like 10 of us, and everyone is employee. Many people did not even speak English because they were from different countries. They came there to work and so on. And yeah, it was when I came there, the first day was very, very stressful. I was crying a lot, and I was like, maybe it was bad decision. Maybe I should stay here for 1 week. I will earn for my ticket back, and I should just, go back. But as time passed, I realized that Iceland is such a beautiful country, and I just wanted to travel so much that I stayed there. And the other experience that I can talk about was in Bulgaria when I was in Chiprovtsi. So when I was doing archaeological excavations in Aktobol, it was an amazing experience because I was with 15 other volunteers and 15 other participants. So it was amazing. We were together living in one house. We were like one family. But when I was in Chiprovtsi, I was alone because it was my
Mm.
project continued, but theirs was not continuing. So I was alone there, and I think the population of that city or village is like 100 people as well, and no one could speak English at all. I was living with family who could not speak English, so there were sometimes misunderstanding because we were using Google Translator. I managed to even learn Bulgarian because of that,
Mm.
some Bulgarian, and yeah, so sometimes this experience scared me, but in these kind of moments, I try to remind myself. My purpose, why I'm doing this, and also like I'm trying to find good in each situation. So, for example, when I was in Iceland or Djibouti, it got maybe lonely and it got scary, but I managed to find friends even in these kind of places. I contacted my friends at home or contacted my friends like from other countries, so we were talking online, and I was in these places I was trying to always be out because they have significant nature, so just to enjoy nature and so on. So yeah, sometimes it can be difficult, but you can find good.
Yes, it's very interesting. I can relate it to my experience as well because I've been traveling for a while also in the past years, and as well I was living in Poland for 4 months. I was in a city that was not that small, but where nobody was really speaking English, and
Mhm.
this has been a very big challenge for me because when you go, for example, even just to the supermarket and you cannot understand how much you need to pay. It's
Yeah,
very, sometimes it can be very hard. Yes, it's part of the cultural shock, I guess.
yeah. Then I'm very thankful in these moments for Google Translator.
Yes, that's true. So how did you make it? How was it? Did you get any benefits, any facilities to take part to all of these projects or some of them?
So first of all, about the Erasmus internship. So yeah, to do Erasmus internship, first of all, you have to be a student. You have to do bachelor or master program, and you have to go to your like maybe a university's career center or international relations center. I don't know. It depends on each university, and you have to write motivational letter. And yeah, if you're selected, you get usually a scholarship, which depends on the country that you're going to live in. If the country is more expensive, then you're going to get like 700 euros or 800 euros, I think, is maximum. If the country is not as expensive, you might get 400, 500, and so on. But these prices actually really belong on university that you're studying in as well. Also, you're getting this Erasmus student status and you're getting this card. And with that card, you're like a part of this Erasmus community. And it's very great to be a part of that community because you can do a lot of things with them. You can travel with them. You can go to different events and so on. So that's also great. And talking about EBS, or there's no EBS actually anymore. When I was doing,
Yeah.
I was one of the last cycle of that. So now European Solidarity Corps. You can do internships, you can do volunteering with that, and so on. So yeah, while volunteering, for example, you can get also many benefits. You get your pocket money. So for example, like for traveling costs, for many other things to cover, and also you get food money. So it also depends, like there's no like one amount that you're getting. It also depends on your organization or the country that you're in and so on. And also you get your traveling cost covered, so that's actually very great. You don't have to pay for it. And in my case, accommodation was also always covered in European Solidarity Corps programs. Yeah, so I didn't have to pay in neither of the cities that I was in.
I think all the experience that you had, all the programs that you joined are very good ones. Because, for example, the EVS or the ESC, but even the internship, they are like educational mobility program made by the European Commission. So it means that you can trust the place where you go. Then, of course, there can be some challenges, some difficulties for sure, but at least you know that you will go in a place that is a trustworthy one. You will be in touch with an organization. You know that you are going in a safe place somehow. You will have a mentor and so on.
Yes.
And regarding to this, I wanted to say that actually there are many different kinds of projects, also more of the one that you had. There are also international projects. So even if people they are not from Europe, or even if you are not a student, you can still join some projects. With Jump into Freedom, we prepared a guidebook, a guide with all the projects that you can join. For example, you can find it also in our website, and there are really experiences for all the ages, all the nationalities, all the expectation that you can have. Because, for example, as you said at the beginning, in your case, you were not sure if you like to work with children, and so you took this occasion to challenge yourself and to see if you really wanted to go for that path or not. But you can even have a very big goal. For example, you would like to be, I don't know, an entrepreneur, or different. You would like to know more about another field, so you can go for another program, and this is actually very cool, according to me.
Yeah.
So thank you so
And
much for sharing also your experiences with us, because it's good to see how it worked for you, to have a real touch on these experiences.
yeah, thank you.
What you wanted to add? You were saying something.
I wanted to add that also very important things that when you finish these programs, you're getting also official papers. So, for example, when you're back home, you're applying for jobs or studies, you can get some very big bonuses. So, for example, at least in Lithuania, after if you do EVS or European Solidarity Corps, and you want to do bachelor studies, go to study, you get plus points. And for example, if you're doing very competitive studies, for example, if you're going to medicine field and so on, that 1 point or I don't know how many you can get, it's very, very, very important. And also in my case, when I got back, I got my youth pass, because when you graduate, when you finish your European Solidarity Corps, you get European pass. And when you finish internship, you also have certificate. So these certificates help me a lot because, as I mentioned before, I did not have like working experience. I was only freelancer. So I think these papers and this experience really helped me to find the job. Yes, because it was like a proof that I have this experience and it abroad.
Yes, and also is a certification made by European Commission. So it's actually your organization giving it to you, but the organization is like it can give you this certification because it's it is approved by the European Commission. This is also important. Hello, Laura. Laura, she's writing us. Thanks, Milda, for sharing your experience, and also hello to Bob. So I wanted to ask you, Milda, the last question. Do you have any advice for people who are thinking to go for the same path that you had?
Mhm.
What would you like to tell?
Okay, so I would say definitely you should know your goal. before going to this adventure, because I meet some other people who are doing this, because at the moment it's very trendy to do it, to take a gap year, for example. So at the end of the year, they're kind of, oh, okay, I wasted this year. I don't know what I did. I did this, and I actually do. I think I wasted it, and so on. But I think if you have a real like goal, and you know why you're doing this, it will help you on the way, because as I mentioned, you might face some challenges and so on. And my goal was basically to try myself, to get some knowledge and skills. Your goal can be like to earn some money and so on, like it can be different, but I would recommend you to have it. And then also, I recommend you to ask some advice from people who had some experience in these projects. You can ask me on my Instagram, or you can ask other people who had these experiences. And the last thing I would say, just don't be afraid, because there's many people who are telling, for example, oh, how will you manage to live abroad? It's so scary, it's so this and it's so that. It's just like, don't overthink too much, and just, I promise you will get something from this, because if you have your goal, if you really want to do something like that, it's just like, I really advise you to just jump to it and, yeah, pursue your dreams.
I really agree with you. I also think that if for someone it's the first experience, maybe it could be good to start with some, let's say, European program where you can have a kind of quality grant instead of going for a work. Because maybe I think if you go directly for a work and it's your first time abroad, and you maybe before you were just in the university, I think it's going to be difficult. So
Yeah.
just also think about your needs. Yes, and respect yourself, and don't rush, because there is no rush, and everything is possible. I would say. So I
Yeah.
only want to. We have a question. I want to. Mazum ask. He's asking. I want to be in a project, and I never afraid from that. I think this is good. This is the good way of starting something. If you
Yeah.
just want to go for something, just do it. Don't think too much. Yes. So I want to remember that if you are looking for some opportunities in Jump into Freedom, with time to time we post some EVS experience, or short term, long term, or just volunteering experience. So you can also connect with us if you need any advance, and we can keep in touch. You can connect with Milda. I published her Instagram link here in the comments, so you can find it. And I think you can find her also on our community, I think.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
anyway, you can and I want to thank you really, Milda, for being here with us today, for sharing your experience, and for giving us so many good tips. And I hope that we will keep in touch, and I hope to hear from you soon. I will also follow you, so I will see your photos, and I will see where you will move next years. This is very
Yeah.
interesting for me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again, and goodbye to everyone. We will. This was actually the last event that we were hosting through this series of talks, but we will plan something new for September. So let's see. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Milda. See you.
Goodbye.